Well, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me again today. Today's title is this: Will Syria be the test of the Cabal's ability to create war? A report on InfoWars revealed truth about the situation in Syria. On the Prison Planet Live YouTube channel, they say, quote, respected 20-year Middle Eastern reporter and Associated Press, BBC, and NPR correspondent Dale Gavrak was told by Syrian rebels that they were responsible for last week's chemical weapons incident in Ghouta. Will the mainstream media ignore a story that could derail the march to war? End quote. Indeed, today is the deadline for the ability to hide behind corporate veils of immunity from prosecution based on the Pope's July decree. Syria is a good test to see how the message affects the Cabal's military-industrial complex. I do provide the link both to the YouTube video and to the full story at Infowars.com. And that link is in the blurb. For those of you that ask, where's the link? That's the only place I can put them on YouTube. It's always in the blurb or the description for the video. Just for those of you that keep asking, where's the link? That's where it always is. That's the only place you can put it on YouTube and have a link appear as a link, just for your information. Anyway, InfoWars is an interesting title. I don't listen all the time, but I have listened to Alex, God, for 11, 12 years anyway, since 2001, since 9/11, maybe even before that. I'm really not sure when I began. And he's a bit of a rabble-rouser and a fear-monger, in my opinion, yet he does reveal, that channel does reveal some really interesting information. And the march to war in Syria is just a repeat performance of the march to war in Iraq, and it's filled with propaganda, it's filled with false flags, it's filled with so-called intelligence operations. This one carried out by the Saudi Arabian intelligence, which that's part of the intelligence web of the Cabal. Saudi Arabia Prince Bandar bin Sultan. I mean, he's part of the CIA. He's a CIA operative, just like, Osama bin Laden was. The bin Laden family are part of that network of intelligence operatives that work for the Cabal, for the Illuminati, if you want to say that. They work for the Bush team, for the Rockefellers, for the Rothschilds, along with the Mossad in Israel, the MI4 and 5 in Great Britain, the CIA and other three-letter agencies in the United States. It's all part of a black operation of the military-industrial complex worldwide. Okay? And they're the ones that start the wars. They're the ones that work for the international bankers. That's how it is, folks. And it is an information war between the propaganda of the mainstream media, in which they're probably still not going to tell the truth because they're still controlled by those three-letter agencies in the intelligence, so-called intelligence community. But it's really the criminal conspiracy community. And it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, especially in light of what the Pope decreed, that they can no longer hide behind diplomatic immunity or a corporate veil of immunity, of limited liability. No, sir. It's full accountability from here on out, and everyone is subject to arrest. Everyone is subject to paying for the crimes that they commit and remunerating those against whom they've committed the crimes. And there's a long list of crimes against humanity that have been carried out by what we know as our governments. This has been revealed in the alternative media widely on the internet. which was of course created like Facebook and YouTube and everything to be spying. It was the dark intent was to spy on everybody. The light intent was to open everyone up to the truth and prepare everyone so that we would know the truth that would ultimately set us free after it first pissed us off. That's just the reality of this crazy cosmic game that we've been involved in as human beings for eons of time, but has reached its pinnacle now at the early stages of the 21st century. As 9/11 happened, of course, at the beginning of that, the first year of the 21st century, and now in year 13, we're reaching another critical point, and a critical mass has been reached, I believe, where the 100th monkey has already happened. So many people have awakened and become aware of the games that the governments play and that the banks play and that corporations play and that the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about in his farewell address in 1960. It's all happening now in this generation, and we have the opportunity to change the world. And I sat in recently on a conversation in which certain individuals were still talking as if the cabal has the power to wage war at will and to declare martial law and to make life hell on earth. But there's also reports out that I've seen that have come across my my emails and stuff like that that indicate that there's a peace initiative going on in the world that involves the UN, and it involves leaders from many countries around the world. And of course, there's the Swiss Indo people that they're wanting to finance a new system that will ultimately replace the corporate structure of our world. And all of these things are culminating, and September could be a really interesting month, to say the least. Yes, the things the mainstream media tell us are not true. Most of the time, that's a true statement. They spread propaganda. They spread the information that's needed to try to get the public behind the war, behind the movement of troops and missiles and other weapons. But in the case of the gassing in Syria, that has already been revealed by none less than a mainstream reporter who had worked for the Associated Press and had worked for NPR and the British Broadcasting Company. Reputable mainstream media. I mean, this is a reporter that's widely respected for 20 years as a Middle East correspondent. And she interviewed the people that knew what happened. Not hearsay, but people that were on the inside, the doctors, families of the people. You have to read the report to get all the details. I'm not going to repeat the details here, but it's all been laid out. Folks, what you're hearing on ABC and CNN and all the mainstream channels in the United States and the mainstream channels in the Western world anyway, what you're hearing is propaganda. What you're hearing is lies. They are trying to build up some level of public support, and they need that energy. I want you to hear me. They need that energy. So if you're one of the ones that's awakened and you're spreading this as you've got to be afraid, you've got to prepare yourself for the worst eventuality, and you get people into a fear mode, you're not helping the situation at all. You're doing exactly what the cabal would like you to do, what the dark forces would like. They would like you to feed the fear and get people to prepare for the worst. No, I'm preparing for and expecting the best. I'm expecting the world to change for the good. I have been dedicated to that for a long time. Yes, it's important to know what's going on. Yes, it's okay to know what the plans of the cabal are, but not to feed into it energetically as if you've got to prepare for them to succeed in their plans. Prepare for them to fail in their plans. That's the wisest thing to do. Not to hide your head in the sand. I'm not saying that, but prepare for big sweeping changes that we can see. Now, I thought that was going to happen, quite honestly. If you listen to my earlier videos from 2011, I thought it was going to happen in 2011. I thought it was going to happen in 2012. I think it's going to happen in 2013. But I'm not setting dates, but I am telling you that energetically there has been a progression, and the progression has been the awakening of humanity. The progression has been more and more people, high up people included. I mean, when I say high up people, I'm talking about people in the military that hold high offices in the military, not just non-commissioned officers, but admirals and generals and people that are commanders and people that are in charge are beginning to recognize. And in the case of Indonesia, here's a king from a lineage of kings that wants to make the world better. There are people in China that want to make the world better. Benjamin Fulford's not lying when he gives us that information. Now, you may say, well, it didn't happen the way he said. Well, we think sometimes things are going to happen a certain way, and then they don't happen exactly that way. But one thing is certain, the Cabal has not been able to carry out its plans as easily as it did on 9/11 and some of the things that came thereafter. And of course, before 9/11, they could get away with it easily because we were all pretty much still asleep and pretty much ignorant of how the world worked. But since 9/11, there's been a reverse trend, a reverse flow of energy, because more and more people awaken, and that turns on the lights, and it becomes harder for black ops or dark operations to occur because the light finds out about it right away. I mean, and the internet provides instant news to the whole world for anybody that wants to tune in and find what's really happening. It leaks somewhere, even in alternative mainstream things like Russia Today and Al Jazeera news and stuff like that, the Al Jazeera English. It's all happening and being told somewhere, so that no one has an excuse for not knowing unless they're choosing to not know. And the truth is that the Cabal knows that their time is up, that their days are numbered. They're still trying desperately to hold on to the illusion of power, the illusion of control, their ability to create war at will, but the public isn't going along with it. That's why in England they had to go to the Parliament. The Parliament said, no, we're not going to back you in the war. And Obama has said, no, I'm going to listen to Congress. He says, I have the authority, which is BS. He doesn't have the authority. The president cannot declare war except with the vote of Congress. That's the way it's supposed to be in the Constitution. Of course, we know that that's just a corporation and they don't follow the Constitution. But they have to play the game, folks. They have to play the game. And so they're playing the game, and I would suspect that the Congress will vote down the war and things that are happening in the UN this month. There's supposed to be a peace treaty signed at the end of the month, according to the Swiss Indo people. That's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out. There's lots of things going on that could be game changers for the whole world. And I pray that enough of us will hold on to the light and hold on to the love and hold on to the higher vibration that is necessary to really bring about the manifestation of the changes that we need to set humanity free and to even liberate some of those that are in the Cabal and in the dark enemy camp, as it would seem. They've been the awakeners, folks, so we need to recognize that if they come to their senses, and I believe some of them, and maybe many of them already have, I don't know, but I do know this: the energy has shifted, things have changed, and we're in a new paradigm right now. This is September 1st, 2013, and this was the deadline, as I said earlier, that the Pope set. No more hiding behind corporate veils, no more hiding behind diplomatic immunity, no more hiding behind anything. Every man, every woman is fully 100% accountable for their actions. And if they commit crimes against humanity, there are enough laws on the book that protect people, because Anybody that has violated the principles of common law, do no harm, cause no loss, and do not uh, overrun the free will or take away the free will of anybody, and our government leaders have all done that. They're all guilty as sin. They're all culpable and answerable to the people, to the law, and we're going to watch how this all plays out as the military-industrial complex, from my point of view, is on its last legs of trying to make a stand, but the legs are going to collapse underneath it, and the people are not going to support another war and another lie like happened in Iraq, and it's like they've done other times. You say, Ron, they're just going to do what they want to do anyway. Well, we'll see. We'll see. That's all I'm going to share with you today, with the closing thought of hold in your mind, hold an image in your mind of a world overcoming in what seem like insoluble problems and overcoming its most difficult challenges because people chose to stand in the truth and let their light shine and let their love embrace the entire world. Thank you for listening. Namaste.